Welcome to the Pixel Pop Movie Podcast. I'm your host what's it? Tri-week? This episode, Toby. With me this episode, I'm joined by the wraps himself in a cape and hides in the shadows, Ethan. Where's Rachel? And the if he could fly, he would get the fuck away from this planet, Jesse.
Why did you say that name?
Holy shit. Alright, well, it's been an interesting 3 weeks. Things are starting, the cogs are starting to turn. It's good. And we've got some trailers, we've got some news, we've got a bit to talk about, which is really good. Of course, we're still watching stuff, we're still binging stuff, and there's some more interesting stuff coming to the streaming services in the next month, and we may even start seeing some stuff coming to the cinemas, fingers crossed. But, our topic of conversation this episode is probably some of the biggest news, at least for myself, this episode, is that the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League is happening. HBO Max has picked it up. They're going to sink some cash into it to get it finished, and we will hopefully be watching it sometime in 2021. So we've got Jesse with us because he's the DC fan of the show.
The much maligned DC fan.
Much maligned. So we're going to have him sort of explain, well, we're all going to go together through looking at some of the changes that we can expect to see in this cut, and have Jesse kind of help explain what that means to us noobs like myself, because there's characters and villains and all sorts of stuff happening that I just don't know who they are. So, sort of like that whole sleep flashback sequence in Batman v Superman. You kind of watch that the first time, and if you've never read a DC comic book, you're like, the fuck's all this? So we've got Jesse. Yeah. Jesse's our omnibus of DC is going to help explain it. But before we jump into any of that nonsense, we've got a bunch of news and trailers. Please take us away, Ethan.
The first bit of news we have is Amazon is thinking of buying AMC cinemas in America.
Yeah.
This is big.
It is pretty big, yeah. I mean, a streaming service owning a chain of theatres. Yeah. One can only start to sort of theorize about the deals and the sort of the handshaking and whatever have you that might go on then between the Amazon streaming service and the cinemas, and, you know, like, you give us a better rate or a better deal on this, and then you let us get access to exclusive streaming, this sort of stuff. Like, it potentially opens the door for some deals, I think. Maybe. It depends on what restrictions are in place legally in terms of what they can and can't do, but, you know, will they then have nights where they stream Amazon Prime into cinemas? There's a lot of potential stuff.
Put them on the midnight time slot.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's
only because all the COVID-19 stuff. So because their AMC is close to bankruptcy, so it'll be a cheap buy for Amazon. One of the reasons why they want to do it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I could certainly see it flowing the other way, where Amazon goes, okay, we've picked up, say, we're going to do Lord of the Rings. See it first in our cinemas, 2 weeks before it hits the small screen.
Yeah, or they might like simulcast or something.
I could definitely see that happening.
That's what I was going to say, is, like, where is Netflix in all this? Netflix must be a little bit pissed that someone beat them to the punch on another evolution.
No, they haven't, because following on from that news...
Sorry, theater. Oh, yes. Sorry, you cut out a bit there, but yeah. So Netflix are looking to renovate the Egyptian theatre.
Yeah, they've purchased it. They're going to keep pretty much, like... They're going to renovate it out, and... because a lot of cinemas in America didn't want to play some Netflix movies, because Netflix really sunk the cinemas and then it goes to streaming. So select movies, they do it too.
That was my definitely intentional segue. You're welcome.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so they've got that, which is also big again.
It's just another example of how the lines between all these mediums are starting to really blur.
In more AMC news, Anne Rice AMC has purchased the rights to her iconic works.
Yeah, the Vampire Chronicles.
Which include a shit ton. Yeah, Vampire Chronicles, Mayfair Witches. AMC's purchased the rights to all of it, so expect some TV shows out of them.
Yeah, I imagine they're going to mine the shit out of the Vampire Chronicles first, just because they're the most well-known. Yeah. I mean, Anne Rice pretty much wrote the definitive guide to vampirism in the modern age, and her books and... the rules of vampires are really used, especially by Vampire the Masquerade.
Yeah, I was about to say, that's pretty heavily borrowed. Yeah,
very heavily. So, I mean, I'm fine with this. I mean, I like the original movie. It's probably a little bit slow, but I'm keen to see them turn the whole, because there's like 6 or 7 stories in that Chronicle. I'm interested to see them turn that into a TV show, as long as it's done well, of course.
Yeah. And we also have a Percy Jackson series is in development at Disney+.
Yeah, I mean, I know
Now,
maybe one or two
now
people would
with
be happy with that.
this, Rick Riordan, who's the writer of the series, absolutely hates the movies. Does not want anyone to ever mention the movies to him at all. He wishes they never exist. Him
Oh, we have
his
something in
wife-
common then.
Him and his wife put a statement out on Twitter to say that they are extremely happy that Disney has done this and that they're going to be doing a live-action series of the highest quality, following the storyline of the original 5-book series.
Well, that's good. Yeah, because I did they even finish the movies? Like the movies, did they finish the whole series? Like in terms of the books?
Nah,
I
they
don't
did
think
two.
Nah.
They did the first two.
Yeah.
Yeah, so essentially this is like them giving Percy Jackson the series of unfortunate events treatment.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Next we have Mad Max 5 is confirmed. It's going to be a Furiosa prequel, but won't star Charlize Theron.
That
Yeah.
seems like a weird choice.
Well, they wanted to. They wanted to CG de-age her. But
Yeah.
they thought, like, no, we can't quite do that enough for you.
Yeah,
For a whole movie.
Miller felt it wasn't worth it.
Miller also says that he said everyone is on the verge of solving it, particularly Japanese video game designers. There's still a pretty wide valley, I believe. Which I think he's
Yeah.
talking about Hideo Kojima, who he's fucking buddy buds with.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But it's odd that I mean, I know it's just this article, but the fact that it says Mad Max 5 and then it's
Yeah,
just
well,
a Furiosa
yeah.
prequel.
Well, I think Charlize Theron said she's read the script for this, so that she could go into Fury Road knowing the backstory of Furiosa.
But wouldn't it just be called Furiosa and not Mad Max? Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get what you mean, yeah.
That Tom Hardy's way in the background.
If you don't include unless they do, like, you know, Mad Max Presents, like they did fucking Hobbs and Shaw with Fast and Furious.
Yeah, like a.
So
sort of like
they
a
call it
prefix.
Furiosa a Mad Max story.
Yeah, exactly, something
Yeah.
like that.
Mad Furiosa.
We have Umbrella Academy Season 2, release date is officially confirmed.
Yep, July 31st.
Yep, July 31st, we get it. I haven't even finished Season
Keen.
1.
You haven't finished season 1?
No, I got halfway through it.
Fuck your
Like I
shit.
did most series, and I just stopped.
Fuck your shit.
Yeah.
Fuck your shit.
I've been watching
It took how many minutes into the podcast for you to start
It just,
rating
I
for it?
know, he hasn't watched anything ever. He's the worst.
Alright, next we have Batwoman star Ruby Rose has exited the series ahead of Season 2.
Good.
She is
Fuck
quite
off.
Yeah, anyone.
I
care
don't
about
like
this?
her, and it's not because of her sexual orientation or the fact that she's a woman. I just don't like her attitude. I really don't like her attitude.
She's very, very unlikely.
And if you read, I've read some of the backstory on this. Apparently, she was very prima donna on set, and it's too much hard work, and I don't want to do these hours, and blah 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 blah. It's, fuck off.
Next we have Peter Dinklage and Jason Momoa have paired up for Good, Bad, and Undead. Now,
So
Peter
what is
Dinklage
this?
will play Van Helsing,
Oh wow.
and Jason Momoa plays a vampire. So it's Dinklage will play Van Helsing, last in a long line of vampire hunters who develops an uneasy partnership with a vampire, Momoa, who has taken a vow never to kill again. Together they run a scam from town to town where Van Helsing pretends to vanquish the vampire for money. When a massive bounty is put on the vampire's head, everything in this dangerous world full of monsters and magic is now after them.
So it's a comedy.
Awesome.
The intent is Midnight Run in a Bram Stoker world.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, it sounds like it could be a fun movie. We have a trailer for Unhinged. I don't know what this is. It has Russell Crowe, and I don't like Russell Crowe, so I didn't watch it.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan. I watched the trailer. Did you ever see Michael Douglas in Breaking Down or Falling
I knew
Down?
you were going to say that, Toby.
Of course.
and
Everybody
thought
saw
the
that.
same fucking thing.
It's the same thing, but it's just
I've
he
seen
stays in the
it.
car.
I've seen Michael Douglas in Jewel on the Nile and Ant-Man, and that's it.
Alright, so he did a movie in, I think, late 80s, early 90s called Falling Down, where he basically, it starts off, he's in a car, and his traffic's bumper to bumper, and he just loses his shit, and he gets out of the car, and then someone, like, tries to mug him, and he beats them and takes their baseball bat, and then he goes into a fucking, like, a Hungry Jack's, and he's like, I want a burger, and it's not, the burger's shit, and they see he's got a weapon or something, and they freak out. Not that he meant to show them the weapon, he got it off a mugger or something, and then he's like, fuck it, and he holds the place up, and he's like, I want a burger that looks like this. And he just has a mental breakdown, right? That's the basic story, where it's just, he has the shittest day you can imagine, and he just snaps, right? Well, this looks
Yeah,
very
The
similar.
idea that someone's unhinged and then all this shit in society just pushes them over the...
Yeah, so this looks similar. It's a guy who just snaps, and it starts with basic road rage where, she just tells him to fuck off or whatever, and it results in him, like, stalking the fuck out of her and trying to kill her family.
So it's like Falling Down mixed with that Halle Berry movie, The Call.
It's Falling Down, but angrier and more psycho.
Falling Down, but dumb.
Yeah, but Russell Crowe. It's Falling Down, but Russell Crowe throwing fucking phones. Yeah, but Unhinged looks pretty ordinary. Probably a miss from me.
Next to be trailer for Dark Season 3.
Man, I didn't even finish. I watched all of Season 1 and loved it. Meant to watch
June
Season 2.
27th. I keep meaning to watch it. Apparently, it's real weird. Apparently, I will like it from what I've been told.
If you don't... I'm not kidding. You can either get a notepad and take notes, or you can actually go to, I think, the official website, and it has the family tree. You will need to do one or the other.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or June 27th. It's out at the end of this month.
Yeah, which gives me time to go and watch Season 2, which I need to do. I probably need to rewatch Season 1 as well. It's, it's no spoilers, it's time travel, and it gets pretty pretty fucking freaky. But it's not English, it's subtitled, but it's good. It's good, and it just gets weirder and weirder and weirder. So,
actually, it's a really good depiction of time travel, unlike a lot of, really,
yeah, it's pretty cool.
We have a trailer for The Old Guard, which I'm pretty sure we didn't talk about last podcast because it only came out a week ago. Coming to Netflix on July 10th, starring Charlize Theron. It says, forever is harder than it looks, led by Warren and Andy, a covert group of tight-knit mercenaries with mysterious abilities. Inability to die have fought to protect the mortal world for centuries. When the team is recruited to take on an emergency mission and extraordinary abilities are suddenly exposed, to Andy and Niall, the newest soldier, to join their ranks to help the group eliminate the threats of those who seek to replicate and monetize their power by any means necessary. It's based on a graphic novel.
Oh, okay. I didn't see the trailer.
The trailer looks quite good. And one of the biggest trailers we had is a new trailer for Tenet.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not watching a single thing, anything else that comes out about this movie. I'm not watching it now because I've seen enough.
Did you watch this?
I watched this. I kind of wish I didn't watch it.
Right. I saw the bit where he fires the gun and the bullets go back into it and all the rest of it. I'm like, wow, that's fucking trippy.
Yeah.
There was a tweet. There was a tweet from the lead actor who said something like, "I don't even fucking understand this movie."
The first bit is that someone did an interview with Robert Pattinson. They asked him about Tenet, and they said, "Does it involve time travel?" And he said, "No, it's not a time travel movie." And everyone else is like, "What the fuck is this movie?" This is before this trailer came out. They're like, "What the fuck is this movie?"
Yeah, no, I don't think it's. I think he has the ability as a detective, or he has a super ability where he can rewind certain things. Which allows him, it allows him to see a crime before it's happened. In some instances, because they're looking at the glass and he's like, "What the fuck's happened here?" And he's like, "It hasn't happened yet." Yeah, it's pretty neat. It's definitely going to be a mind trip, but that's nothing unusual.
So much we don't know as well.
Yeah, that's not uncommon for Nolan. I still watch Inception every fucking few months. It's just
Following on from talking about Duncan Jones, Scott Derrickson is set to direct a long-awaited Labyrinth sequel.
The time is now.
Yeah, but there's people saying that they should get Tilda Swinton to play fucking the Goblin King.
Yeah.
I don't know. Honestly, there is no great option. There really isn't.
No, the only option is just you. Yeah, you do. Look. The only person that can play the Goblin King is David Bowie, and he's gone.
Done.
It's like Evil Dead. Like they did a new Evil Dead, they just didn't put Ash in it because the only person who can play Ash is Bruce Campbell. Full stop.
And if he's thing is, I feel like they won't make anyone play Stan Lee in a film. So there's something.
Yeah, exactly. Like Big Trouble in Little China. Fucking piss off, Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah. No one. That movie doesn't need to be remade. It's perfect.
It is. Anyway, I'm part of me is like super keen, and then another part of me is like super fucking reserved on this. So we'll see.
The Henson Company's still involved. They're still doing the puppets and stuff.
I know. I read it, but
You could have Labyrinth and it just not have Jareth. You could do it in another part of that world.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. I hope that
allude to Jareth that he's still around picking in the Labyrinth world, but just don't show it.
We'll see. At this stage, it's just an announcement. Until I get some trailers or something, then I'm not going to get too excited.
Next we have Mastodon is apparently doing a song for the new Bill and Ted movie.
Who's Mastodon? I'm a very old person.
They're like a heavy metal band. Lucas wanted to include it.
Okay. There you go, Lucas. He won't listen to this.
Go the Dragon Tattoo TV show reboot is in the works at Amazon.
Yes.
I've never seen any of these.
Yeah, that's fine. I didn't expect you to. I prefer we won't get into this debate. I prefer the originals, foreign films over the American reboot, even though the American reboot was closer to the books. Keen to see it get fleshed out properly in a TV show. And Amazon's got the budget to do it properly.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah, like, focus on the original trilogy and do them properly, because they're such good stories, so...
Really are. It's such a good series. It is a shame that David Fincher's series didn't get off the ground, because I really like the American one too, and like I think most people like the original film
with Noomi. With Noomi.
Yeah, it was still Noomi, but it was still a pretty good job. And like I said, it wasn't bad. It was because we'd been tainted and spoiled with the earlier versions, I think. But yeah, the American version was good, and it was closer to the book, so it was good in that regard. So anyway, we get to look forward to this.
Yeah, What We Do in the Shadows has been renewed for season 3 on FX.
Oh fuck yeah! I
haven't watched season 2 yet. I finished season 1, but I haven't watched season 2 yet.
Did it get released episode by episode, or was it just binge dropped?
It's episode by episode.
Right. Okay. I will wait for it to legally appear on a local streaming service.
Anyone's waiting for home video, I'm pretty sure that the DVD and Blu-ray maybe next month.
Yes.
So there you go.
That's what I'll do.
We also have the Safdie brothers. Obviously, the first look deal with HBO. They're mostly known for Uncut Gems.
Haven't watched it yet, but sure.
Yeah. So
it's very good. It's very, very good
from them.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, Henry Cavill is returning as Superman.
Yep, confirmed.
In some movie. I think they said that he's not getting another Superman movie.
That's a real shame.
But he will be appearing again.
Yeah, obviously there's some loose ends that the character needs tying up because he's not passed away or anything. So,
a Borderlands movie. Cate Blanchett is officially announced to play Lilith.
Yeah, that's an interesting choice of casting.
Yeah, it's officially announced. Yeah.
So is this Borderlands film going to be like the Borderlands cast in retirement?
I don't know.
Because Cate Blanchett is, no offense, Cate Blanchett, but she's a bit old to play Lilith. Then again, she did look about 20 years younger in Thor, so they...
Yeah. I don't know, I'm just thinking of a Cate Blanchett with red hair and tattoos and all.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just not that fussed on a Borderlands movie, so...
I'm not that fussed on Borderlands film either, but I mean...
You're not fussed on Mad Max with monsters and aliens? Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is in development with writer and director back.
Yep.
Right, okay, let's move on. We've got Cobra Kai Season 3 is moving to a different streaming service.
Yeah, so let me explain that because you don't care. So YouTube wanted to get away from original scripted content for whatever reason, and there's Cobra Kai and one other series they chose to keep, but they're not going to have them on the YouTube service, so they're looking to move them onto Netflix or Amazon or one of them, so they're going to be shopping
Was that
around.
Impulse?
Lisa On Demand.
Of course they did Liza's show.
Or Liza On Demand, sorry. Yeah, so they kept those two, but they're looking to be shopped around.
Okay.
Netflix will take the Liza one, guaranteed.
Yeah. So I watched all of season 1. I got about halfway through season 2. I got to get back to it. It's pretty good. I've been enjoying it. So, especially if you grew up with,
I think
if you grew up the original,
was probably the only decent thing they did.
Yeah, which is why they're obviously going to keep it. So, it was like if you've loved the original movies from the 80s, then yeah, it's enjoyable.
Next we have Wolfman. Ryan Gosling is starring in the reboot of the Monster Classic.
Ooh,
so
I'm so excited!
How do you feel about that, Ethan? Because you were sort of partially invested in the whole Dark Universe thing.
I was interested in the Dark Universe, and then I was disinterested in the Dark Universe when we had Tom Cruise as a walking half human, half set abomination, and Russell Crowe as Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. That was a... Fucking watch that piece of shit.
I think that what they need to do, hopefully with this new Wolfman film, is not take it super, super serious like they did with the Benicio del Toro one. Maybe they need to go back
and will.
Do
Gosling doesn't
like
do
Ed
like
Wood.
Gosling doesn't do fucking even slightly funny.
No. And that's the because he does like sarcastic, like in Crazy Stupid Love, but you know.
Yeah, but it's not his forte, is it? I mean, he's not going to do like fucking Twins.
No, I've honestly always been a big proponent of the fact that they need to put the Universal Monsters franchise in the hands of people like Tim Burton, even though I have a serious problem with Tim Burton these days. But seriously though, like, do Edward Scissorhands-esque kind of vibes, you know, like Ed Wood, that era of Tim Burton. Do that to Universal Monster movies, and I think it'll be a big...
James Wan. James Wan. He already did...
Give it to James Wan.
He already did some of it.
Let him make his friggin' Cthulhu thingy one.
Yeah.
Aquaman.
Yeah. James Wan and Guillermo del Toro together. Do it.
Yes. Yeah, that'll bring the H.P. Lovecraft franchise to the world. Get Richard Stanley. He did color out of space. There you go.
Done. There was one last bit of news that Ethan skipped because he doesn't care, I guess, and that's fine. I don't really care either, but someone will. And is Scream 5 has been confirmed, and that David Arquette is returning as Dewey Riley.
I only care because I love David Arquette.
You love him?
David?
Like you have a life-size pillow of him, or?
I may have bought one of those true boyfriend things with David Arquette. Every time he squeezes his chest, it says lines from Scream 2.
Oh boy. So anyway, so that's all the news we've got for this episode. That's just some juicy stuff there, and of course, Snyder Cut, Justice League, HBO Max. That was probably the biggest news, but you know that's the topic of conversation. We'll come back to that later. Before we do that, it's been a little while since I had you on the show, Jesse. What have you been watching while you've been stuck at home under lockdown in isolation?
Oh, apart from Community again and again. Last time I was here, I just said I watched Community. I've probably watched it again since then because my partner loves it.
Wow.
I actually just recently, speaking of like recent events, I just watched the whole Epstein. Was it Filthy Rich or?
Yep.
I think that's what it was.
Yeah, I saw it on there. I didn't watch it, but I saw it on there.
It's pretty good. It's a really good limited series, and I think only the last 20 minutes or so of it are actually covering anything to do with his death. The rest of it is entirely his crimes or everything he was supposedly he had done, which allegedly all the alleged crimes he committed, and it really does actually paint a really good picture of like here are systematically all the people involved in this. And, you know, where are they now? Why are they being prosecuted now? It's a really good series. Like, I would highly recommend anyone watch it, especially if they like a lot of the other limited series that Netflix did, like Evil Genius and You Don't Fuck with Cats. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But, it's a really good show, and definitely doesn't, like, most of it isn't about all the conspiracy theories of, like, did the government kill him?
Yeah. Anyway, okay. So what about you, Ethan? Have you watched anything in the last 3 weeks? Apart from something terrible?
I watched... Up to season 5 of Community, and then I started that, and now I'm halfway through season 2 of Parks and Rec because I'm rewatching that.
Very mainstream.
What else did I watch? Oh, the Snowpiercer TV show on Netflix.
How's that going?
The first 3 episodes are out. Every Monday the new episode comes out, so I started watching the third one today. It's quite good.
I've been meaning to watch that.
I would recommend it. It's quite good.
I need to know, how is the Jennifer?
Pristine.
Like a fire.
So is this? I've probably asked this before. Is this set before or after the movie, or is it sort of retelling?
It's a reboot, pretty much.
It's a reboot.
It doesn't
okay.
follow on from the movie.
Okay.
But it's good. It's really good.
Okay.
I also watched Lucy on Amazon. I saw it the other night, and I thought, why not?
Right. Isn't that what's her face?
Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah.
Other than that, I've just been watching some anime and
Have you been keeping up with Rick and Morty?
Holy fuck! They just pulled out. Like they just stopped giving a fuck, didn't they?
They really did.
Like it's funny as hell. It's funny as hell.
I think I watched the first 2 of the season. And I'm just like,
I watched the most recent 3 the other night, and I just thought, wow, like they've just stopped. Like they don't give a shit anymore, and it was hilarious. But it was also it's just
episodes, so why not?
It's chaotic. It's just like noise. It's chaos. Like it doesn't. Yeah. There's no prequel. Like there's no sort of lead into the episode. It's just bang. They're in the middle of it, and away you go.
Yeah, and there's entire episodes this season that seem extremely like just 0 to 100. It's just that's what this episode is about now.
It's weird. That's what I mean. Like, shit's just gotten really fucking weird.
I mean, unfortunately, I still don't mind Rick and Morty, but it has become so overrated at this point, and I feel like that might be the symptom of what has happened to season 3, where they're like, we've gotten way more success than we thought we would. Fuck it, we'll just do whatever the fuck we want and see if people stop watching or if we get censored for it.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I've seen this happen with other shows before, and then most of the time they get canned. Otherwise, they end up like 20 seasons, like South Park.
Exactly, and I feel like Dan Harmon has never been somebody that's like, he doesn't want to do the same thing forever and ever and ever. And I mean, he even said when everyone started saying Pickle Rick all the time, he was like, God, that's really fucking annoying. I didn't like, this is such a dumb thing people have latched on.
Yeah,
that's peak comedy though. There's nothing better than comedy than turning yourself into a pickle.
Exactly.
You know?
All the, like, you know, highbrow humor of Rick and Morty. It's just that one stupid joke.
Yeah. Well, I finished The Last Dance on Netflix. That was really good. I'm still only halfway through Das Boot, and I need to move my ass on that because apparently it did get picked up for season 2, and that's coming out very shortly. So I need to move my ass on that. I watched older stuff. I watched Spotlight on Netflix. I don't know if you've seen that. Great cast.
Such a good movie.
Yeah, so that's the one that deals with the Boston newspaper that sort of ousts a whole bunch of Catholic priests for touching up kids. And yeah, Michael Keaton and
Mark Ruffalo,
Rachel McAdams. Yeah, they're great cast. It was really good movie.
I watched. In there too.
Yeah, I put on Eye in the Sky.
Helen Mirren.
Yeah. I'd reviewed it for Pixel Pop because we got the trailer, the disc from Entertainment One to review it, and I thought it was really good because it's sort of one of those, you know, the old, there's a tram coming, it's going to kill 10 people or one child, and you decide kind of thing. It's that, but obviously in a military environment. It's really good, and it was worth the watch. But what was interesting was when I watched the screener, it had subtitles for the non-English speaking parts, but on Netflix it doesn't. There's no subtitles at all. So for the first time ever, I submitted a bug report. And said, I know this movie has subtitles because I remember watching it with subtitles. Find the subtitles. Yeah, never got uploaded. But yeah, but apart from that, I've been playing more games and streaming more, so I haven't watched as much TV lately. I need to do another Stranger Things binge, I think. Oh, I started the Harry Potter movies again. They were overdue. Yeah, so I've been watching that with the family, as you do.
Spiders, little butterflies.
Stop at Harry Potter. You're not going to go into Fantastic Beasts territory because that's where that shit sinks far.
No, it doesn't. You see what are you talking about?
All right. Well, that's kind of what we've been watching. Let's move on to our topic of conversation for this episode, and that is the Snyder Cut of Justice League, which is being released on HBO Max in 2021. It was announced officially by Snyder, and after he did a live streaming of Man of Steel, I believe.
He did a live stream.
Yeah, he was
Q&A.
Yeah, he was joined by Cavill and whatever have you. And so the short version of it is, if you haven't heard the news, is that HBO are going to spend some money on it. Word is 30 million plus, although everybody's being a little bit coy. They won't say how much, but there's going to be a bit more filming, although from what I've read, it won't include the original primary cast.
No.
So it's more sort of secondary characters. And there's obviously going to be some editing and some CGI. Now, I thought what we might do just quickly, and of course pipe in, because I know you guys have got other sources, I'm just going to bang through a Wikipedia entry here that talks about some of the significant changes that we might see in the Snyder Cut versus the theatrical release. And then perhaps Jesse, who's obviously such a DC fan, might be able to sort of answer a few questions that I hit as I go along, and we might that way have some sort of people who are like me, who aren't so familiar with this stuff, will have some idea going into the Snyder Cut what the fuck's going on, because, you know, like I said,
context is really important.
It is, because if you, like me, you watched Batman v Superman, when you have that flashback, that dream sequence rather, there's a lot going on there that if you just watch the movie, it makes no sense. You know, you just don't know what the fuck's going on. Of course, if you've read the comics, you're like, oh my god, it's this, and oh my god, it alludes to this, and oh my god, it alludes to that, and that's fine. But if you don't have that resource, then it's just a weird dream. So
that's something that Marvel's gotten away with. The difference in Marvel movies is that in Batman vs Superman, there was 2 big moments that happened like that. There was the Flash turning up in Bruce Wayne's dream and saying, you know, like, Lois is the key, and then there was the whole nightmare escape, like, Western duster coat Batman thing. In a Marvel movie, they do one of those, and then people who love the comics will be like, oh, that's a reference to this, and then it'll pay off in another movie. DC tried to put too much shit into that one film.
Yeah. And, I mean, as much as I didn't understand it initially, I still thought it was a really cool scene, because it gave us a glimpse of what could happen. Yeah, it was great. And then you have the Flash and all the rest of it. But, alright, so let me just start reading here. The theatrical cut entirely removed at least 10 comic book characters from the Snyder's original script. Citation, I think there's some there. The Snyder cut included a short scene where Flash saved Iris West from a car accident. Okay, who's Iris West?
In the comic. Yeah,
sorry?
Barry's girlfriend.
Okay, so he saves his girlfriend. Okay, Ryan Choi / Atom appeared as a Star Lab scientist working with Silas Stone.
Now, Atom is pretty much like Ant-Man. He can shrink himself down to the size of an atom. The Ryan Choi version of Atom just recently appeared in the Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover as well.
Yeah, you're not Jesse, Ethan. Why are you talking? You're not Jesse.
I know these things too, okay?
You're not. I want to play too. Let me play. Let me.
For like fine. What he hasn't watched.
Yeah, we'll hit something that he doesn't know soon. So Cyborg's mother, Eleanor Stone, appears in some flashback scenes. Well, I can gather who that is. Aquaman's mentor, Nuidus Volko, appeared in an underwater scene and a cut post-credit scene. Who the fuck's that?
Willem Dafoe's character from Aquaman.
Ah, right. Okay, right.
They were in Justice League, but yeah, you got cut.
Right. Justice League antagonist Darkseid appeared in at least 2 or 3 scenes. So now this is one of the biggest changes, I think, that I mean, I don't know who Darkseid is. I get that he's kind of like the DC's version of Thanos, but that may be an oversimplification. So fill me in. Who the fuck is Darkseid?
First of all, how dare you call him Thanos?
Sorry.
Thanos actually was ripped off of Darkseid.
Marvel seems to rip a lot of shit off DC, to be honest. I mean, look at Deadpool, right? Anyway.
Well, if you go back in the history of Thanos, the guy that actually ripped him off of Darkseid originally ripped him off of a different character that was next to Darkseid, and they were like, that guy's too weedy.
Well, even the name Marvel is a rip-off of Captain Marvel, which is just Shazam.
Exactly. But yeah, Darkseid is...
Get original Marvel, you fucking thieves! God! Alright, so Darkseid.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure most people usually have like passing ideas of Darkseid thanks to like comics and
I have no idea.
Like even video now.
None.
He really is the DC version of Thanos, kind of.
How dare you?
He's a god, and his whole thing he's hell-bent on is finding the anti-life. I think it's the anti-life formula?
Anti-life equation.
Yeah, anti-life equation, yeah, which is like it's a mathematically based equation that doesn't include mass. It's to do with like the idea of if you have complete control over someone, they basically stop living, and that's a reference to like an old Golden Age comic book transcript from Wonder Woman. So basically, he's just after subjugating everything in existence.
Right. If you remember in the original release of this Justice League movie, when Steppenwolf smacks the ground and all those red lines start spreading out all over the ground, that's the anti-life equation spreading across Earth.
Yeah, because in the comics, Darkseid is always looking for it, and he gets pieces of it. He only fully completes it in a couple of story arcs, and even a couple of those pieces is enough to be like world-ending, which is basically the power you see in that flashback sequence.
Right, okay.
So that was going to be explained in the Snyder Cut.
So Master Torturer and follower of Darkseid in the comic books, Desaad, played a minor role. Well, okay, I guess he's a villain.
Yeah, I suspect Desaad probably in their original version was a lot more important to do with Steppenwolf, because in the comic books Desaad resurrects Steppenwolf, and that's how Steppenwolf becomes fully under control by Dark.
Okay. Harry Lennox's character Calvin Swanwick from Man of Steel and Batman vs. Superman was planned to appear in a scene revealing he was secretly the shape-shifting alien Martian Manhunter all along. Now, I know that this was talked about in that scene with the interview, like that where Superman gets arrested.
No, it's in. Oh, okay, yeah. And in the actual Justice League, it's the scene where Martha's talking to Lois.
Yes.
And Lois gets up and walks out of the room. Martha was going to turn into Martian Manhunter.
Yeah.
Well, Harry Lennox and then Martian Manhunter.
Because there was
that wasn't shot. But
you know
I think that's going to be in the reshoots that he's going to try and do.
Because I thought the scene where Superman gets taken in and he's arrested, you know, and like he's there's the glass and the soldiers are looking at him.
Yeah. There
was meant to be a Martian Manhunter scene there, apparently. I remember hearing.
It could be a hint, maybe.
Yeah. So anyway, that's a whole nut. So how does he fit into the story? Who's he working for? What's his agenda?
Martian Manhunter. I'll let you take this one, actually. You go
for it. You go for it. Everyone else loves Martian Manhunter but me. I like Martian Manhunter, but I don't love him like a lot of people.
Right. So why is he here? Is he working for this Darkseid or?
Well, no. He's kind of like he tries to keep the balance between a lot of stuff. He interferes, but he also tries to keep balance. He's not bad. He comes from Mars. He's a green Martian. There's white Martians on Mars and that as well. But yeah, he can shapeshift and fly and all this sort of shit.
Right.
So he's all around good.
He's a Skrull.
He's generally always up in the Watchtower most of the time as well.
Okay,
yeah,
so
depending on which version of him they go with, he'll either be interdimensional, like cop, like interdimensional good guy cop, or he'll be like a neutral force of like adjudicating, like you're pushing it too far, you can't do that. You know, have to restore them.
Right. Okay. That
Even the Supergirl TV shows, he's a huge part of that.
Right.
Yeah, and also, what's her name? She's in Young Justice. She's become really popular now. There's another. She's a white Martian, but she looks like him.
Oh no.
Martian Mistress? Can't remember her name. But she might pop up in future DC stuff as well because she's become like Harley Quinn kind of.
All right. Let's see. Moving on. While the theatrical cut keeps the mother boxes as a plot device, the Snyder Cut included a detail that they contain Steppenwolf's actual mother named Hegra, a reimagining of Hegra, Steppenwolf's stepsister from the comics. Is that stupid? It sounds stupid.
So that is dumb, but here's the thing: is that's really interesting too, because in the comics, to put it into context, Hegra is Darkseid's mum. And basically, so that makes Steppenwolf Darkseid's uncle. He essentially ends up killing her in the comics because she kills... Darkseid kills her because she kills the woman that Darkseid loves because she's starting to make him too good. She's starting to make him...
Let me guess, he loves Lady Death?
Yeah, he has a lady love that is like saying, don't go to constant war with the nice god anymore.
Because like Thanos loves death, right?
Sadly, no, not death. But if Hegra is in the mother boxes for some reason, that's actually a big reason why it would make perfect sense that there's all those lines in Justice League where Steppenwolf keeps talking to mother.
Yeah.
So now that we're talking about mother boxes, if you remember in the theatrical version, Cyborg's the one who's like pretty much working on separating the three of them from the one. And the Snyder Cut, he actually goes into the mother boxes to do that.
Okay, so I can see Victor.
It's Victor and his dad and his mum.
Yeah, so it's his family. Okay. And it says, careful, Victor, if you go inside the mother boxes, they will fuck you with you big time. That's not Father's Day, that's a trick.
It's pretty much the mother box trying to show Victor, like, if you let us do what we're going to do, you'll have your family back and you'll be human again. You won't be a cyborg. Now, someone asked what that big structure in the background was.
Yeah, I see.
To Zack Snyder, that they said if that was a ship and if it was Apocalyptian. And he just responded with hashtag Green Lantern.
Right, okay. All sorts of shit going on.
So yeah, I think that's like a big view of another view of sort of like the future apocalypse sort of thing.
All right.
Well, initially they had actually planned to put there's a cameo of a lantern in
the start.
flashback.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be a different lantern originally, and then they changed it.
It's Ylan Gur, isn't it? I believe it was Ylan Gur, wasn't it? One of the first Green Lanterns. He's in that battle against Steppenwolf.
So it says characters removed or given reduced presence. The one that they missed out on that, I think, that showed cast as a human Green Lantern. He was cast. I don't know if it was in a flashback one or like back to that big original battle, or if it was in present day. But there was a guy who said that he pretty much was a human Green Lantern in the movie.
Right, so let's move on here. So the supporting characters Scylla Stone, Lex Luthor, Lois Lane, Mira, Ares, Zeus, and Antiope had several scenes cut or reduced but still appear in the theatrical release. From that, I actually heard too that Lex Luthor's stuff was significantly cut, and that Jesse had much more of a relevant part in this film. I'm not sure how true that is.
Deathstroke broke him out of prison.
Yeah.
The reason he got out, and it's a whole bunch of stuff with that.
Now, Mark McClure, the actor who played Jimmy Olsen in the Christopher Reeve Superman film, played Lois Lane's bodyguard throughout the entire Snyder Cut, but he only makes a cameo appearance in the theatrical. He's the police officer, I think, with the Flash comes to visit his father in jail. He's the guy that makes him sign the paperwork.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So it's the original Jimmy. So actor Sam Benjamin said that he filmed 20 to 30 minutes worth of scenes for a military subplot that was cut from the theatrical release. So I knew Jimmy was there in that cameo, but I didn't know he'd done all this stuff, so that's interesting, whether it comes back in or not. Several scenes introducing and exploring mythologies of the three new characters to the DCEU, Flash, Aquaman, and Cyborg, were removed from the theatrical cut. In the Snyder Cut, Flash briefly learned how to travel through time, and his relationship with Bruce Wayne is established as being between someone who is naive and excited and someone who is experienced and jaded. Cyborg was described as the heart of the film, and in the original script had included additional scenes of his origin story, learning to use his abilities, connecting with his cybernetic enhancements, and being ripped in half by Steppenwolf.
The thing with Cyborg is I remember seeing some leaked CGI stuff that wasn't actually included in the theatrical version. It would be from the Snyder Cut, and one of those was him at his football game, showing him getting into an accident or something like that. And then another one was him showing a hologram type film type thing to the rest of the Justice League. But it shows like World War II Nazi camp.
Yeah, so I remember hearing about that. Yeah.
So maybe the Nazis had like a mother box, and that's what he's showing, or something like that.
Yeah, I remember reading that. Yeah. Aquaman had additional scenes exploring his backstory and Atlantean lore, including the dead king of Atlantis' throne and the scene involving Volko and Mira that directly connected to Aquaman. And though he supports the release of the Snyder Cut, Momoa has defended the removal of these scenes, stating that there is no need for it because you are going to see it in an Aquaman movie, and this isn't an Aquaman movie, it's a Justice League movie. And that's interesting too to think about, because this obviously is now coming out next year, by which stage, we've had all these other films come out, and he's right, like we're probably not going to get a Cyborg movie, and the Flash movie is still 2022 at least. So yeah, I mean, it's interesting now that this is coming out so late. It will impact this Snyder Cut, because stuff that he might have done in the cinema 2 years ago, he probably won't do now, and I would imagine that would directly impact the Aquaman stuff.
I'm totally in agreement with Jason on that, because I also, that's the only cut that I've seen that seems significant that I was like, that makes sense. There's no reason for that to be in there, and it's purely the only reason why it should have been in there to begin with was because they did this the wrong way around. They didn't do the solo movies before
because they were trying to catch up with Marvel, right?
Exactly. They shouldn't have done Justice League this soon, but whatever. The replay.
Now, this is one of the most significant changes. Most of Henry Cavill's Superman scenes were reshot by Whedon. I've heard that what we saw of Cavill in the cinematic cut was less than 40%. I don't know if you've heard similar things, but it was quite significant. We know about the mustache nonsense and yada yada yada. Now, nearly all the Superman scenes were reshot, so that's how you can spot the recuts. If he's got the ridiculous CG face, then you know it's Whedon. And a lot of the stuff has that. So now what's interesting, and something I've never really understood, and I suppose I could dive into the comic books, explain the black suit to me.
So, the black suit Superman, they actually, funnily enough, they were going to do that in the old Superman Lives movie that was going to have Nicolas Cage. That was a big part of that movie that Kevin Smith was writing years ago, back in the 90s. Basically, the black suit is like it's like a rejuvenation suit kind of thing that that Superman is in when he's basically when he's revived after he gets killed by Doomsday. So it's basically kind of like a Bacta chamber suit, I guess.
Right.
It kind of helps him regain his strength once he gets out of the actual like rejuvenation pod thingy that he's being brought back through.
Right.
That would have played a big part in the whole, like, you know, all those conspiracy theories that happened when it came out, where which have turned out to mostly be true now, where people were saying, you know, did Superman have a bigger role, and did he possibly have an antagonistic role? And the whole black suit thing would have played into that perfectly.
Right, yeah. Because of the memory loss and whatever have you, or...
Yeah, and also the fact that, like, that would have been the image we would have gotten of Superman when he returns, rather than just Superman shirtless in the middle of some fucking park. So, yeah. Like, I was like, whoa,
playing a few bars.
Big brain.
Playing a few bars of the original Superman theme song.
Exactly, yeah.
Alright, moving along. So we know about Superman. So Superman's obviously playing a much bigger part, and I guess we'll sort of see what. The version of Superman that appeared in the Snyder Cut was described as completing his story arc and becoming the true, quote-unquote, Superman as depicted in the comics after being reborn. Superman's behaviour at the end of the Snyder Cut was described by storyboard artist J. Olivia as unhinged. That sounds interesting. That's some was it Bright Flame? What was that show with the kid? The movie we watched? Brightburn. That's some Brightburn shit coming along.
Straight out of the Injustice video.
Yeah.
The flashback scene illustrating Steppenwolf's first invasion of Earth against the Olympian, Old Gods, Amazons, Atlanteans, Green Lantern Corps, and humans was altered for the theatrical release. The Snyder Cut was longer, including a younger version of Darkseid named Uxas instead of Steppenwolf. At a battle between Ares and Darkseid, additional footage of the Green Lantern Yalangur, and included dialogue from most of these characters that was removed from the theatrical release. When Steppenwolf strikes his axe into the ground, it creates a glowing red symbol. In the Snyder Cut, this was explained to be a representation of the anti-life equation, but the theatrical cut never addresses what this symbol is. I can understand why, though, because it's sort of like Lord of the Rings when that had that prologue. Yeah. If you name everybody and explain everything that's going on, you're just confusing the fuck out of an audience.
I need to know who Gil-galad is.
Yeah, so I can understand why, you know, you don't need to know who all those people are. It's a flashback sequence. You just need to know that Steppenwolf did some shit and failed.
So, you know this scene from that part we were just talking with Steppenwolf and that, is that scene?
Right.
This is what it was supposed to be.
Yeah, it was supposed to be Darkseid as his before he called himself Darkseid when he was
as the young version of him. Zack Snyder's been dropping tidbits all over. He also said that we should be getting his original design he had for Steppenwolf, how he sort of looked in that deleted scene from Batman vs Superman. We should be getting that design look for him as well.
Yeah, because he was CG.
Interesting thing with the whole being with Darkseid originally being younger and being called Uxas, that would play into the whole Hagra thing and Steppenwolf being like subjugated to Darkseid after he backstabbed his mom and all that stuff. They could explain that like very sparingly in the background because it's not really that important or that interesting, but it would be cool because you were saying before one of the characters that was left out that's on that character list is Ares, and the actor that came forward that played Ares in the parts that were cut said that he had an extended combat scene against Darkseid. So you had the God of War fighting Darkseid in that whole flashback sequence. So that would have been really cool to see. So we might get to see that now.
The final battle between the Justice League and Steppenwolf's army of parademons was largely redone. Whedon added the reddish hue colour, the root-like structures growing out of the ground, a redesign of Steppenwolf's base of operations inside the cooling tower, and the Russian family that Flash saves. Batman played a larger role in the action in the Snyder Cut. In the theatrical cut, Steppenwolf became afraid of the Justice League, causing his parademons to attack because they were drawn to the smell of fear, a plot device Whedon introduced both in this scene and the opening scene with Batman and the burglar. In the Snyder Cut, Wonder Woman decapitated Steppenwolf before he could escape through a boom tube. On the other side of the tube was Darkseid, teasing his appearance in a sequel.
Just so everybody knows, boom tubes were the actual names of those great big like teleportation gateways that he was opening up, but they never said that in the movie.
No, and Barry used to time travel as well.
Yeah. And they're only called boom tubes because apparently they make a really loud boom when they open and close.
Which means that Cyborg would have had to make the boom tube for Barry as well. That's an implication.
So, all right. So that's everything I've got here. Was there any other sort of big points that I missed?
I've got a big one.
Yep.
There was a after credit scene that was filmed for the movie, which was taken out, and it was a scene of pretty much Bruce Wayne was at his lake house one night, and Kilowog and Tomore, the Green Lanterns, show up and warn him about Darkseid.
Yeah.
They filmed it with obviously Kilowog and Tomore being all CGI, I would assume, but they filmed the scene with Bruce Wayne talking to them, and they cut that out.
Right.
And that's a big one. It's obviously a huge, that's big right there. It's a huge one.
It's also that it also slot into with the things that they chopped out. Once people started piecing together that Lex Luthor was in it a lot more in the initial cut, that people started to realize, like, oh yeah, that throwaway line where Bruce Wayne's like, Lex's journals, these pictures of mother boxes are initially, although they haven't said exactly what his part in the storyline was originally, Lex Luthor was clearly aware of mother boxes, even if he wasn't aware of Steppenwolf. But either he had a part to play as like a minor antagonist, or he was going to be like an information source for the Justice League to try and piece it all together.
Yeah. All right, well, that's about all we got time for this episode, so we're going to have to wrap up our Snyder's Cut Justice League discussion. I think that gives everybody, it certainly gives me a much better idea of what the fuck's going on when it finally arrives, so thank you for that. I got some idea who these people are, what they're doing, and why they're doing it.
I'm surprised that they cut Darkseid out at all. He's a pretty straightforward villain. He just wants to subjugate everything. I don't know. They put Steppenwolf in and...
Yeah. So, obviously, there's not a great deal coming to cinemas in the next fortnight or 3 weeks. We're hoping to get Tenet sometime. Is it mid-July? I think it's lined up for, Ethan?
Yeah, mid-July.
Yeah, so we've still got another sort of 6 weeks away. Meanwhile, I'm just gonna quickly bang through this list of stuff that's coming to Netflix and Amazon and such in Australia. So Netflix 1st of June, Blade Runner: The Final Cut, because I know I think they've got 2049 on there at the moment, so you can go back and watch that. Boogie Nights, King Arthur: Legend of the Sword, $1 Million Baby. They got the Mission Impossible movies, Bugs Bunny Roadrunner movie. That's a classic, timeless, just so good. Lincoln Lawyer, The Ring, Spy Next Door. 2nd of June, Full House: The Farewell Season's launching. 4th of June, It Chapter 2. If you haven't already watched it, there you go. 5th of June, 13 Reasons Why Season 4. No doubt that'll get a lot of eyes on it, just not from mine. What else we got coming out? 10th of June, Pixels. You can avoid that. 15th of June, Blinky Bill, the movie. Oh, yeah. Ocean's 8, 27th of June. So that was the all-female reboot. 20th of June, Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle. Good movie, worth a watch. 30th of June, Dr. Seuss, The Lorax. Johnny English. Scarface, Big Lebowski, Expendables, Wrath of the Titans. Stan. Anyone still got Stan? I don't have Stan. Do you have Stan? You guys have Stan?
I still have
Yeah,
Stan.
I got Stan.
You got Stan? Okay, let's see. What else we got? 1st of June... Don't know what that is. Ghost. Remember Ghost. 2nd of June, Too Fast, Too Furious, Fast 6, Fast 1, Fast 5, Fast 7. Pretty much all the Fast. They got all the Fast and Furious coming 2nd of June.
Oh, sweet.
Yay. Here we go. This one's specific for Ethan. 5th of June, The Wiggles, Wiggle, Season 1.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Thomas and Friends, Big World, Big Adventures.
Yeah.
It's all happening 5th of June. Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Season 1, Part 1.
Hell yeah.
That's it. Pencil in 5th of June. What else we got? 7th of June, Penny Dreadful, City of Angels, Season 1, Episode 7.
Are you gonna just skip over RuPaul's Drag Race All-Star, Season 5, Episode 1 premiere?
Fucking oath I am.
True.
8th of
I
June,
fucking watched that. What are you talking about?
you're getting the Bridget Jones movies on 8th of June. 11th of June, you get some Jurassic Park 1 and 3. 2, you got the Jurassic Park movies coming. Good-o. There's lots of Penny Dreadful. Looks like you get Penny Dreadful every week.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's Planet Weekly.
Yeah, some Yellowstone happening
Stars
there
in
as well.
Stars in America, and then it's Dan here.
Yeah, not that exciting. Moving on. Disney, just shit. Just shit.
Artemis Fowl. That's not getting released at the cinemas. It's going straight to the Disney Plus.
Yeah, yeah. That's probably, and that's because it's shit.
Hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot of TV shows. It's mostly TV shows, and it's none of them are, I would say, particularly exciting. I mean, it's things like Muppet Babies Playdate.
God.
Yeah, it's not good. There's nothing. Marvel Spider-Man Season 2 is probably the biggest thing on the 26th of June that you and I might watch. That's really about it. It's really quiet at the moment. That's fine. You know, we know stuff is coming late this year. Foxtel now? Do we give a shit?
Nah.
Lots of old stuff. There's a lot of old
Nah.
stuff. There's a lot of old stuff coming to it. 1st of June. Looks like they dump everything mostly at the start of the month. So
Can you subscribe to Foxtel now without Foxtel? I thought it was just attached to your Foxtel plan.
No, you can. I think I had Foxtel Now. I had Foxtel Go, but that's all
Okay.
I ever had. I just
all right, here we
and
go.
it was
Amazon
good.
Prime, 1st of June, Sicario. Done. Ethan, watch it.
Yay.
Shut up and watch it. Shut the fuck up and watch it.
no, not watching it. I already watched it.
Good. American Sniper. What else we got? Gran Torino.
Oh, lots of Clint Eastwood.
Miss Congeniality. My Big Fat Greek Wedding. 18th of June, Rambo Last Blood with an exclamation mark. That got a director's cut as too, I remember reading. Last Blood.
Really?
Yeah. Explains more. Gives you. It's got like another 14 minutes or some shit. Just shows why he's a nut job and it has more.
Gonna
Shows
say,
him digging the tunnels and why he's digging the tunnels and all that sort of stuff.
Lots of people had issues with that movie.
I loved it. I thought it was good. So yeah, all right. Well, you know, nothing huge. There's nothing. I don't think in any of those channels there's anything that's coming out that we're like, oh, that's huge. Like it's yeah. I mean, you got Artemis Fowl, but I mean, there's a reason it's going straight to fucking Disney Plus. It's gonna be shit.
A lot of people in my generation grew up
When's
reading
Westworld
it.
season 3
Sure.
coming out? I know Ethan and Lucas are super keen for that.
It's already finished. It's done.
Finished? Okay. Did you watch it?
No, not yet.
I can't mean that fucking exciting.
Wasn't.
But I mean,
I just dropped off.
you know, I'm looking at this article and it's sort of listing everything, and like the big fucking highlight is It Chapter 2. So I mean, you know,
See, it's already come out a year ago.
yeah, quite month. Nothing. There's nothing big. There's no OC dropping, and that's probably because of this. I mean, the corona's obviously played a big part. And now we're starting to see that where, you know, we should have been having Stranger Things and all this sort of shit, and we're not. So I think we're still going to have another 2 or 3 quiet months before we start seeing the good stuff.
It might be a
Well, it's
good time
end
for
of
everyone.
next month. I think we said is the end of next month we get things like Umbrella Academy season 2. Later this year we'll probably get some The Boys season 2. So yeah, we're just gonna have to weather another couple of quiet months, I think. So, all right, well that's really all we got time for this episode. Thank you for joining me, gentlemen.
No worries.
Yeah, I guess
It's all good.
would you like to start us on the song out, Jesse?
Me?
You?
Oh, why not?
Okay, take us away.
At this point, we'll just have blank silence because it's a copyrighted musical.
Din 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 din.